Good morning, Ndume.
Good morning.
So I'm Janet Wolfe. I'm on the National Council of Elders. And even more than that, I am a friend, co-conspirator of Ndume Olatushani for many years. And when I think about what revolutionary love looks like, I think of you. I think of your incredibly large heart. I think of your consistent compassion. I think of your willingness to invest in love over and over again in defiance of all that has come at you in your life.
I was freshly off of death row, actually. I was falsely accused of a crime and spent a total of 28 years in prison, and 20 of them was facing the death penalty in the state of Tennessee, actually a state that I had never been to, certainly not in Memphis, Tennessee, killing nobody. Until the people actually took me down there, arrested me and took me down there and put me on trial for the crime. And like I said, ultimately, I was convicted, sentenced to death back in 1983, just like it is now. The city of Memphis was a majority black city, and I was this young black man at the time being accused of killing a white prominent person in this city, and I was tried by an all-white jury. So that tells you a lot about this process. That not only falsely accused me, but for a lot of good people, including you, I have no doubt I would have been executed. And in my case, the people knew that I was innocent. It ain't like they was making a mistake and none of that stuff there. They knew I was innocent because all the evidence that they presented against me was fabricated. The evidence of my innocence was withheld.
So how is it that they're on death row? You bet on love, that you believed love was not only possible, but worth embodying, giving flesh to.
Right.
What created that hope in you?
And I certainly would consider revolutionary love that when you got people around the world standing up and fighting for people sitting on facing the death penalty across this world, never seen the people, none of that stuff there. They just knew it's the right thing to do in the face of, power, actually. I think that's certainly revolutionary in this in and of itself. I know as human beings, we possess the capacity when we rooted in our humanity to treat people like we want to be treated. I know that, and so I never give up on that. I think that yeah, yeah, that's what kept me and still have me uh, believing in people and the capacity that we have to show love and compassion to each other, even when we don't want to or feel like we don't want to.
And so you are an incredibly powerful, amazing, awesome artist.
Well,
How that happened on death row doesn't seem likely.
I know. Yeah, when you think about I mean, and it's true for most jails and prisons. I know because you've been in a whole bunch of them that sitting with the people that need it most. That most of these places are devoid of color. I mean, they colorless environments. I mean, if it's paint on the wall, there's some off-white, gray, some color. But other than that, that's kind of what it is. And so for me, pain was this kind of like a form of resistance for me because I was able to use color. And my thing was that even though that I was in this kind of colorless environment, they couldn't stop the color that was actually happening in my head. That was the one thing that, in terms of, like you said, being able to hold on to some sense of love and humanity and that stuff. Yeah, that was certainly one way that I was able to do it because I knew that whatever the people did physically, they could do and I couldn't do nothing about it. But the thing that I could control is what was happening in my head, my own thoughts and how I was going to respond or not respond. Like I said, using art was this form of resistance to save myself, the same way I'm using it to challenge people's realities or perceptions out here now like I was then.
But I wanted you to talk for just a minute about the one painting of yours that's hanging in my house that I absolutely love, of the African woman who's in a river. There's a young boy next to her. There are other people in the river. And you painted that while you were on death row.
I did.
Tell me the story behind it.
The title of that picture is Blind Faith. That particular painting is Blind Faith. And so you have this blind woman standing with a young boy, just like you said, at the river's edge, where you see a few people up to their neck going across this river. And so this blind woman is basically trying to have this young boy to believe in this faith that she's trying to pass on to him about, he got across the river just like the people in front of him. And it's going to be all right. It certainly was a struggle, to maintain my hope and everything that we talking about, or I didn't say it. And so when I was trying to express that visually, that's kind of what it came out like that I just have to, I just got to believe that the truth is going to prevail and have faith in that, even though they ain't got no reason to believe it based on what I'm sitting and facing. Sometimes we just have to jump in and believe that it's going to work out.
So talk about that for a minute, your art now.
When I was sitting on death row, I read this book. It's called A Time of Terror. This guy, James Cameron, but he was a 16-year-old kid back in 1930. Him and his two friends, they lynched his two friends and was pulling them up on the tree. But the account is that one person in that crowd shouted out, "Let that boy go. He didn't do nothing." Shouted that over the crowd. He said the crowd went silent. Whoever was putting him up on this rope dropped it, and that's how he survived. He wrote this book called The Time of Terror. So I read that book, had a profound impact on me. That's how this whole lynching project was born.
So you're doing a series now that studies photographs of lynchings, and each time focuses on one white person. And you do the painting, and the painting is asking that question. Is this the person who will say, let him go, stop this system, confront the injustice? And while you're doing that, you're doing a series of workshops on dismantling the cradle to prison pipeline, ending the death penalty, and working on a series called Black Joy. How does all that go together? And what does that have to do with revolutionary love?
Art is at the root of civilization. We can go look back at thousands of years where people didn't have nothing but a berry that they chewed on and put their hand on the wall and spit their handprint around there just to let them know that let us know that they was there. I think that art is very powerful, and we should embrace it in whatever form. If it's used to challenge some of the things that we know shouldn't be happening, I'm saying that we should embrace it.
Talk for a minute about your recent trip to Normandy and your ongoing work with young people.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough. I went to the 7th edition of the Normandy World Peace Forum, and until I actually went there, I was totally unfamiliar with the work that they was actually doing. And they had over, I think, 4,000 young people from all around France, where they brought in to you just engage around the ideal of love and peace. I think the prevailing message that I took from a lot of young people understood that their fate can't be separated from the young people way around the world from them. Whatever happened to them is going to happen to them.
I love you with my whole heart. I'm so grateful for your life and witness and your good loving over all these years. Yeah.
Well, anybody that's listening to have an opportunity to see this, my message to you guys is real simple. As long as we rooted in our humanity, don't nobody have to tell us how to treat each other. Don't nobody have to tell us that. I want for you what I want for myself, and that's everything that anybody else wants. Yeah, nothing different. And if we treat people like that, hell, a lot of stuff that we dealing with, love will just flourish then.